Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. So, what is going on here? And that is, now the Americans say that Ukraine and the European Union will be involved in the Ukraine war peace negotiations. Now, why would they say that? Remember, if they say that, they have to ask the Russians. And if they say that, the Russians can say niet, or they can say, okay, well, we bring in then, I don't know, Bangladesh, we bring, I don't know, Zimbabwe, we bring China, we bring India, we bring Hungary. Let's bring the whole world. Let's go to United Nations then. Do you think the Russians will do that? They said, well, before the Russians said, we're okay with, being peace being reached through United Nations. They said it before. It doesn't mean they will do it. But what changed? That's one of the topics of this video. The other one, the Europeans tried to warm themselves, to beg a seat at the negotiating tables. Why? Because they think they're important. They're not. They're just an extra vote. That's what Europe is. The Americans are using their lackeys, now the plantation slaves and the household servant, which is Great Britain, when they need more voices, more noise, when they need votes. They say, oh, the world community, which is 4 countries. I have to remind them that the world community is made out of 194 or 93 countries, depending on who's doing what during that day. So when they talk about the world's opinion or the world's community, they talk about themselves and 2 or 3 that agree with them. When you go to, let's say, the United Nations General Assembly, when they vote, and it's something proposed by the Americans generally, you have about 40-some countries. Those are the lackeys. NATO, European Union, and some baboons in Pacific area, like Japan, South Korea, New Zealand, and Australia, and Palau, and maybe Papua New Guinea, something like this. These are the countries. So that's the world community according to these guys. So, my friends, if you bring those guys, we're going to bring our guys. What's going on here? That's the first topic. The second one is, the Europeans want to warn themselves in. They are just yes, sir. Then we have I would say, delusional Zelensky coming and saying that Ukraine can regain all occupied territories through diplomacy and NATO membership. Now this is imbecilic. How is that? The ship has sailed, or the train left the station, or I don't know, the baboon is in the room, which is Zelensky. How in the hell you can still say these kind of things? Well, it's very easy. You got a lot of baboons over there listening to this kind of craziness. And we have a date for the Ukrainian elections. According to the opposition leader, or one of them, the former president of Ukraine, Mr. Poroshenko. All right, let's start with the first topic. Here it is, new voice of Ukraine. Zelenskyy will take part in peace talks with Russia, Donald Trump. But, in what capacity? That is the, how they call it? It's like I say, we're all going to have a say. Well, some will have a say, but are you going to have a decision-making position or just a say? Zelensky is going to be over there holding, Trump's briefcase or handing paper to whomever is going to be in charge of Ukraine at that point? What is it going to be his role? Or the Ukrainians will only be given the paperwork with sign over there, this is what we decide for you. And if you say no, we're going to have another leader in Ukraine right then. Why? You're out. These are the new leaders that we recognize. Because the Americans, you remember, they recognize whomever they want. They don't recognize Maduro as the president of Venezuela. They don't recognize him. If they don't want it, they will not. Now imagine other countries not recognizing Trump. They will be offended. There will be, war, sanctions, all that. But somehow we don't. Why? We are better. We are better. We are in certain departments, but worse in others. All right, so let's see what's going on here. And I'm quoting, "We're moving forward. We're working very hard to make peace between Russia and Ukraine," Trump said. When asked if Ukrainian president, he's Ukrainian as I am Zimbabwean, Zelensky would be involved in the talks, Trump confirmed he will be involved, yes. However, these are not baboons. However, Trump did not clarify the nature of Zelensky's involvement or mention any specific agreements. Did you hear that? So, when the evil guy, still evil for some, Putin, was asked about if Zelensky, will be going to talk to Zelensky, he said, Zelensky could be involved, but he will have no authority. His signature will be illegitimate on any document. So he can talk, he can be over there in front of everybody, he can say whatever he wants, probably, but if he signs it, if he's allowed by the Americans to try to sign a document, we call that illegal. It's not a legal bound document. That means he can do it. He can be over there bringing us coffee or donuts, but he's not going to have any authority that we recognize. If we don't recognize, fuck you. And the same thing this guy says. He did not mention any specific, the nature of his involvement or specific agreements. Next one. The Europeans are all crying. Look at that. New voice of Ukraine. Stubb. European Union needs envoy for Ukraine peace process. Maybe what you need, I need about $3 billion after tax. Who gives a fuck what I need? This baboon right here is, who's this guy? I'm going to show you. This is the Finnish president. So the president of Finland, he said that. Do you know Finland? Tell me 5 things you know about Finland. I mean, serious things. Not that Finland is a country, Finland is on planet Earth, or Finland is big or Finland is small. I want you to tell me some concrete facts about Finland. Let's start with this one. Population. You don't know it. Unless you're Finnish, I guarantee you. Or in the north, or Sweden or something like this. Or maybe you're smart. Not smart. Informed. Because being informed doesn't mean you're smart. You can gain information, but you can't link it, you're baboon, only with a memory. So, that's the first one. Second one. What's Finland's national day? You don't know it, I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that. Okay, tell me some historical facts. For instance, tell me something about 19th century Finland. Or what year the Finns appeared or were in Europe. Important things. You tell me. Tell me the first president. When Finland is its foundation date. When? Tell me a few kings that Finland had. Or something. You don't know. You do not. Tell me 3. Not 1. 3. I can start with 1, but it will be insulting. 3 big cities in Finland. Or cities in Finland. You don't know. I guarantee you that. So when you say Finland is okay, but Finland, the president said we should be part of it. Who the are you? Albania, Romania should be involved too? Doing what? Giving a helping hand to the Americans and the Russians, you know what I mean? If you don't, anyway. Let's go to the next one. Let's see what Rubio says. Ukrinform. Rubio says Europe will be part of real peace talks. So that means what he's doing with Lavrov in Riyadh tomorrow on the 18th. I made a video a minute ago regarding the dates of a ceasefire and when the first delegations will meet in Riyadh, Lavrov and Rubio, and not only. It's tomorrow, the 18th in Saudi Arabia. So that's not real peace negotiations, peace talks. They're just like unreal. They're going to discuss? Okay. They're just discussing. It's not negotiations. Got it. Okay. I thought they might just say, let's put all the cards on the table, which is we, the two of us, just the two of us. Okay. We will let you know what we decided for you. Smack. Did you say what? You? I thought so. Anybody else? No. Good. Let's move on. That's how the world is. All right. Let's see what this guy says. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has stated that Ukraine and Europe will be included in any real negotiations aimed at ending the war between Russia and Ukraine. This will be told to them. I guarantee you that. And if the Russians agreed with these baboons to be involved, why baboons? Ukraine allowed NATO to use them against Russia, and Europe was following U.S.'s orders. So when they agreed to bring this active war participants to the war, then the Russians could bring the North Koreans then. I want Kim Jong-un at the table as well. And probably Iran, and probably, China. How about that? Rubio downplaying the concerns of Europeans that they could be excluded from upcoming talks between Russia and US, set to take place in Saudi Arabia in the coming days. No, it's already tomorrow. He said that the negotiation process has not yet begun in earnest. But if talks progress, Ukraine and European nations will be involved. Excellent. To what extent? Details are very important. Very important. If I tell you that I was invited to the White House, you say, "Oh my God, under what kind of circumstance? To repair their faucet or somewhere, or their heating system? Why am I invited over there? To meet Trump? To meet whom? What exactly? What capacity?" Very important. All right, let's see how these guys are delusional. New voice of Ukraine. Ukraine can regain, yeah, it can, all occupied territories through diplomacy and or NATO membership, says Zelensky. So it's true. I function like this. When it's a situation, I function like, is it true? How do you know it's true? Now, regarding this is a scenario. I go by possibilities and probabilities. Is it possible that Ukraine can regain all occupied territory? Is it possible? It is possible. Under a certain crazy scenario, it would be possible. Now, is it probable, which is more important than possible? Is it probable? That means, is it viable? Could be achieved? And then I go by percentages or odds, how you want to take it. And I think can regain its all occupied. And then you go by time. Could happen after Putin dies and these guys are taking over Russia eventually. Could happen. It could gain more than occupied territories, even more parts of Russia. So I think at this point, let's say in the next year, the chances, the odds, the probability that they will regain all is 0. Or 1. Let's go with 1%. Because it never happened. You don't know what's happening. So this is what I think. But hey, they can do it. Why through NATO? Why don't you do it through yourself, man, if you're so tough? Why through NATO? And then you say, well, nothing without us. Then why do you ask NATO to come over? Why these guys are pumping money and support you over there? Without them, you have been done in the first 2 weeks of the war. No, anything without our signature is not valid. The role of the Ukrainians is to fulfill those guys' goals. That's all, unfortunately. Plain and simple. All right, and Zelensky is the guy who did it for this particular nation. This guy here, with his nation, to this particular nation. He was just a messenger. He was just the guy who filled the script. He's check, done. So let's see when the elections will be scheduled in Ukraine, according to Mr. Poroshenko. So Pyotr Poroshenko says that Ukraine will have election date. The authorities have already started printing the ballots. Former President Pyotr Poroshenko has claimed. Now, write it down, he says. It will be on October 26th on this year, 2025, said the former president, who currently leads the European Solidarity Party. All right? Now, I suspect this guy already has some sanctions for the lover of freedom and democracy right here. Slap this guy with sanctions. Yes, he did. All right, my friends, so what do you think? Regarding Ukraine is as Stalin allegedly said. Oh, they want to vote, let them vote. As long it's we who are counting the votes. Or our electronic machines, in this case. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.